Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to edit your montage clips in Valorant using the Saber Effect plugin. There's a few things you need for this video, and that is After Effects, Premiere Pro, and the plugin. I'll have a link to the plugin in the description below. It'll take you to the Saber Effect plugin page. Just scroll down the page a little bit and you'll see the download for either Windows or for Mac. Just pick whichever one you need, go through the installation of that, and then it should go straight into your presets folder in After Effects. So for this video I've got two clips here. One of them is a slow motion and one of them is a freeze frame. This is just because in kind of like montage clips you have like these slow motion parts and these freeze frame parts where the effect is put on just to give it a bit more of a dramatic kind of look to it. So first of all I'll be doing the slow-mo. If you don't want to see how to do slow-mo, you want to know how to do the freeze frame, I'll put a little timestamp on the screen right now and also something in the description so you can skip ahead to that part if you really want to. Now, if you don't know how to use a Saber Effect, you've never used it before, or you don't know how to use Premiere Pro or After Effects, don't worry, I'll go over the basics for the very first part of this when we go over the slow-mo. For the second part, it won't be so in-depth. So this is the clip that we've got. It is just a simple reload of the Vandal. I have cut this clip. This is one whole clip together, but I've cut it in the middle here. This clip here is what we're going to be slowing down. So we want it to be roughly, you're going to aim for about 3 to 4 seconds. So if we go to, that's 2 seconds, about here, that's about 3 seconds. So what we'll do is we want to zoom in on this clip, make sure it's wide enough that you can click on this little square. You want to right click it, go to time remapping, and mine's already on speed because I have that on default. And then what we want to do is just drag this bar down, and we just want to get to where we've kind of marked where we want this clip to be. So it's just under 4 seconds, which is actually quite an alright time. This gives us plenty of time to show the effect off. So now that we've done that, we just want to right click on this clip here. We want to unlink them and just get rid of the audio, because it will sound a bit weird at the end. You can keep the audio if you want, it's just personal choice. So if we press play now, it looks very, very buggy and it doesn't look very good, but we don't need to worry about that. If you're not going into After Effects and you just want to know how to make a nice slow-mo, you can right click on your clip, go to speed and duration and change it from frame sampling to optical flow. And if this goes red, then it means it's worked. If it hasn't gone red, that means you either need to make it slower or just have a lot less movement in the clip. We can go ahead and press enter to render out the clip. And now once it's rendered, it should go green. And now we can press spacebar to see what it looks like now. As you can see, it looks a lot better. It's actually much smoother and yeah, it's very nice. But I'm actually just going to Control Z that so we can get rid of that. Just because we're going to be doing the exact same thing in After Effects, except for it's going to look a little bit different, but you have the same smoothness. So now we're ready. We've got our clip. We've got our slow-mo that we're going to be putting into After Effects. All we need to do now is put the effect, the Saber Effect, onto this clip. So we need to take this to After Effects. To take it into After Effects, you want to click on your clip, then right-click it, come up to the top here, it says Replace for After Effects Composition, and then this is going to open up After Effects. So once After Effects opens up, it's going to ask you to make a new file. Once you've done that, it then load in your clip, like so. So this is our clip. So obviously it's very buggy, once again, or very jumpy. So what we want to do is we want to right click. We want to go to frame bending and go to pixel motion. You've got this little green bar appearing. We need to wait for it to get to the end. This is just rendering out the clip. Once it's rendered out, we can see what it looks like in real time. Right, now that that's done, we can press play. So as you can see, there's a little bit of warping right here, just here. I really wouldn't worry about it. And people watching the clip in like real time, they're not going to notice it. Even at the beginning here, there's a little bit right here. It goes by so fast when you put it into an actual video that people won't notice it. So don't worry about that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make an actual mask around our gun or whatever object that you're putting the effect onto. So in this case, it is our gun. So to do that, we want to click on our clip, come to the top here for the pen tool, or you can press G. And then with the scroll wheel, you can hold it down to move the clip around, and you can also scroll in to zoom in. And we're basically just going to make a mask around this gun. I should note not to do any kind of like bended lines or anything like that. I could do one right here, just like that. But you're going to have to track this mask over the whole of the clip. And having the bended lines is going to kind of like mess up the mask in the tracker. So just try and stick to normal straight lines. So one of the things is that this mag, like halfway through the clip, gets hit off the gun. So we're not going to be clipping over this. Just going to go straight through it. And then also this part of the gun flicks back under the gun, so you don't see it no more. So we're also not going to go over that, just because that will also mess up the tracker. Right, there we go. So we've marked it all out. We don't need to join them up. One of the things I want to say is that you might accidentally create a new one, a new mask. You'll notice if it goes like a different color, what you need to do is just press Ctrl Z until it disappears. Click on the very last pen point that you made, and then you can carry on. So now is the difficult part, or the time consuming part. We now need to track this mask throughout the entire clip that we've got. So if you don't have this little tracker window at the bottom right, you want to come to the top here where it says window, go down to tracker and just tick that. And then it should appear on your right when you click on your mask. So once you've done, you just want to go ahead and click play. And then this will take a while. And if you're very lucky, then After Effects will do a really good job of tracking your gun or whatever you're putting the mask onto. So we'll see what the final product looks like. Okay, so it stays on pretty well. It's coming in at the top here. Kind of come off a little bit. It's coming off a little bit here as well. It's kind of it's not really like rotating with the gun. Comes back into itself. So it's actually not that bad. It's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So if you didn't really care too much, you could probably just leave it as it is. But just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to also show you very quickly on how you can kind of fix it. So it kind of gets messed up about here. So we're just going to delete this frame. Till about here, I'm just going to delete these frames. We don't want to do it at the next point because it will jump a little bit. So if we go further in about here actually, then double click on it. Just want to fix it a little bit. Not going to make it perfect, just purely because it's going to be very hard to do that. That looks a lot better. So once you're happy with it, so this might take you a couple hours, it might take you a couple minutes. Once again, it completely depends on how much movement is in the video and how well the tracker has actually done in After Effects. But once you're happy with it, you want to click on your mask, press Ctrl+C to copy it. Then we can hide all this away. Right underneath that, we want to right click in the empty box, go to new, go to solid, and call this whatever you want. This is a new layer that we're going to be putting the Saber effect onto, so I'm just going to call it Saber. Then on the right hand side of the effects and presets, we just want to type in Saber. If it doesn't appear, you need to make sure that the effect is in your presets folder. If it's not, you might need to try and find where you've downloaded it to. If you can't find it at all, you might just need to re-download your Saber effect. So we're going to click and drag it onto our new layer. So now we have a new little window on the left hand side called Effect Controls. So we're going to come down to Customize Core, go to Core Type and change it from Saber to Layer Mask. Then we can hide that away. Go to Render Settings, change the composite settings from black to transparent. Then we can hide that away. And now, if you want to click on your new layer and press Ctrl+V, this will then paste the mask onto your gun, and it will also then make the effect go onto that mask. Then back at the effect controls again, at the very top you see presets. You can click on this drop down and you have a wide range of different presets you can click on. So we're going to use neon. Let's say I don't like this kind of like purpley red that we've got going on, or this pinky red, should I say. I want a light blue, like a cyan. There we go. Now all we need to do is we need to wait for the clip to render out again. So we're going to wait for this little green bar to go all the way to the end. Just now the clip is rendered out. You can press play. So you can actually notice the mistakes. So it does look a little bit silly, a little bit weird. You wouldn't really want to put that in your montage. So real quick before we go to the freeze frame section of this video, I use the Inferno preset, which obviously, as you can see, is a lot different to the neon that we used before. It's not like a straight line going around, it's this flame that you can see, and it actually looks a lot better. So if you end up with a mask that doesn't look very good throughout the whole clip that you're using, try messing with the presets, because Inferno's actually turned out a lot better than the other one. Yes, you can't see much of the top of the gun, but there are other presets that kind of give the same effect while also seeing a lot more of the gun. So I'll play it right now, you can see the difference. So everything besides this point, when it switches right here, everything before that looks absolutely great. So definitely take the time to go through some of the presets and figure out which works best for your clip. So now I'm going to show you how to use the effect in a freeze frame style. So I haven't created the freeze frame yet. This is just a clip that we're using, it's the exact same one as the last clip. I need to find one frame that I'm going to be using to freeze. So I want to use it when she puts the mag into the gun. That here, that's a good point. We're going to cut it right there. We're then going to use our arrow keys just to go right once. Make another cut. Then we're going to drag this clip off to the side further over this way. So we have our one frame cut. So what we're going to do is we're going to just drag this clip out as much as we can. So that gives us 2 minutes and 36 seconds of footage to work with. Obviously yours can be longer, yours can be shorter. I'm just making it however long I can be, which is 2:36. So we can work with that, that's fine. Sometimes you might want it a bit longer, sometimes you might want it a bit shorter. It completely depends on what the effect, what effect you're going for. So this is a clip at the moment. She reloads, puts it in, and it just stays still for a bit, and then we have the same clip over again. But it's not going to look like that when we're done with it. So this is going to be a freeze frame, it's going to be stuck on the one frame, and it's going to go straight to this after the effect is done, if that makes sense. So we want to take this into After Effects now. Just right click on the clip, go to Replace with After Effects Composition, and we just want to make a new file, and then it will then upload your clip. So we have the clip playing as normal. So to make it a freeze frame, we want to right click on it, go to time, and just go to freeze frame. You have to make sure that you're on the frame that you want to freeze. So for me, it was the very first frame. If you cut it the same way that I did, you're going to want to go to the very first frame. Now that's worked, it's all completely frozen. So now we can work on it. So there are two things you can do with this now. You can go ahead and make your mask, whack the effect onto it and change some things and make it look nice. Or we can follow what I'm going to do. It's going to take a little bit of time, not too much time though. I'm just going to show you the basics of it, and then you can kind of take what you learn from it and do what you want with it. So yeah, we want to make our masks. So we're going to be making two masks actually, because the effect I want to create is, so the animation is she puts the mag into the gun, and the effect that I'm going to be creating is that these two lines, one coming from this side going around and one going that side goes around, then they meet up at the top and then they spread apart again going back to the hand, and then the rest of the animation continues. So to do that, we want to make our two masks. So come up to the pen tool and we want to find like a middle point. So obviously the main focus is when she puts the mag into the gun. So we're going to go for roughly around the middle of the mag. And now we're going to make a quite a detailed mask around the gun and actually the hand. So I'm going to end it right there. It's a little bit under halfway, probably about halfway's probably about here, but because there's so many more like pen points going this way than there would be the other way, I think it's better if I end it a little earlier so it doesn't look too odd. So now we want to make a second mask. I'm not sure, there probably is a keyframe to make a completely new mask straight away, but all I do is I click off the clip, click back on it, and then I start again. Make sure you try and get as close as you can to this first mask without actually clicking on it. So that's fine, that's good there. And there we go, there's our two masks. So you can tell where the effect is going to start and end, because the starting point has this little circle inside the ring, and then the ending point is just a normal filled out circle. So if you want the effect to go from the bottom of the gun to the top of the gun, make sure you start at the bottom and end at the top. If you want it the other way around, obviously you start at the top and end at the bottom. So we want to make our new layer. So come to the bottom left here, right click, go to new, go to solid, and you can call this whatever you want. This is the layer that we're going to be putting the effect onto, so I'm going to call this Saber. Then on the right hand side, under the effects and presets, we just want to type in Saber. Click and drag it onto our new layer. And then we want to copy our masks over. So we click on this little drop down. Masks should already be dropped down. If it's not, just click on the drop down. Click on mask 1, press Ctrl plus C. Go to Saber, press Ctrl plus V, go to mask 2 and repeat. Then we can hide this all the way. So now we want to put the Saber effect onto our masks. So on the left hand side under effect controls, we want to go to customize core, change the core type from Saber to layer masks. Drop that, get rid of that. Go to render settings, composite settings, change it from black to transparent. And there we go. So I don't really like this default preset. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using one called Neon. It's kind of the same, gives off a bit of a different vibe though, I quite like it. I'm going to change the color to like a cyan. There we go, I like that a lot. So now we need to add the animation that I'm kind of talking about. So I'm going to click on this drop down, go to effects, go to Saber, and we want to go down to customize core. And we want to click on the stopwatch for the start offset and the end offset. So these will create new keyframes. So what we want to do now is we want to come to the middle of the clip. So the whole clip is 2 minutes and 34 seconds. So we want to come to half of that, which is 1 minute and 17 seconds. So 1 minute 17. We want to keyframe them again by clicking on this little marker here. So with these new keyframes we made, we want to actually we want to bring out our end offset keyframe that's at the beginning, and I'm going to move it about, this is 12 frames. I'm going to move it 12 frames out. At the halfway point we want to change these around. So in our start offset we want to change it to 100, and our end offset is going to stay at 100. So it should just look like this. So basically it's just slowly disappearing from the hand up to the gun, but we want to make it just a line. So at the end offset, first point that we created, we want to change this to 0. So now it should look like this. Cuts off partially way through, carries on going through to the end. It gets shorter and shorter as it goes on, so you might want to make it a bit longer. All you gotta do to make that longer is just drag this out further. So now the line will go longer, cut off there, goes longer, and it stops there. So I've rendered out the clip so you can see what it looks like in real time. It looks really good. So now we need to make it go back. So we're going to create 2 new keyframes at the very end of the clip, and we basically want to replicate this. So we need to know how many frames away from the starting point it is. So it is 29. So basically we'll go back 29 from 234. So 34 take away 29 is 5. So we need to go to 205, create a end offset there, we can actually delete this one here by just clicking on it and pressing delete. So then this our end offset needs to be 0, and this start offset needs to be 0 also. Just to go over everything, we've made a start offset at the very beginning, a start offset at the very middle, and a start offset at the very end. And then for the end offset, we've made one 29 frames away from the start offset. Then we've made one in the middle, and then we've made it again 29 frames away from our start offset at the very end of the clip, if that makes sense. So if you're following what I've done, like exactly like you've done the 29 frames and stuff, it should look just like this. And then the start offset starts at 0. The very first end offset starts at 0 as well. Halfway through, they both end at 100%. And at the very end clip, our start offset starts at 0 again, finishes at 0, sorry. And then our end offset, which is, what do we say, 29 frames? 29 frames away from our ending part of the start offset is also at 0%. And this is the effect that you get. So it is a little bit complicated to like kind of like speak it out and explain, but once you've done it once, you kind of realize how actually that is actually quite easy. So obviously you can change the effect, you can make it quicker, you can make it slower, you can make the line longer. And I've also used quite a basic preset as well, so you can always change the presets around, go through it, see what there is, mess around with it. It's a lot of fun. You can make some pretty cool effects. And then once you're happy with that, all you need to do is go back into Premiere Pro and it updates itself live. So what you'll get is this pink box on the clip that you were using in After Effects. You have this red line above it. All you need to do is press enter. It'll then render out the clip. So once it's rendered out, you should get this nice green bar above it, and we can press play and see what it looks like. So it doesn't look the best. The effect of it is actually quite good. Maybe it's a bit too long. The clip itself is a bit too long. And also probably should have done it a little later on in the animation. This part where she puts the mag into the gun probably isn't the best part. Probably should have waited till about here when it's like fully in and it's like push the gun up. But yeah, it's a nice effect. This is definitely something that you can definitely use for a lot of things, not even just montages. This will look good in any kind of video. So yeah, if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you like the video, subscribe, definitely hit that notification bell, because I plan to be making more tutorial videos on how to make some cool montage effects, not just with the Saber Effect, but also with like transitions and stuff. My next video is going to be on how to make a really cool because the next tutorial video that I make is going to be a transitions tutorial for like montages, mainly for Valorant, but I'm sure you can use it for other games also. So yeah, that would be really cool and interesting to make, so definitely make sure you hit the notification bell so you can keep up to date on my uploads. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope it was helpful. So yeah, that's it. I hope everyone has a good day, and catch you next time.